John, I know you've been poring over the details of actually the interaction between them.
I mean, it's chilling. It's something out of a Stephen King novel. He's asleep in bed, and a voice wakes him up and says, "Are you Paul Pelosi?" It's 2 o'clock in the morning. He says, "Yeah." He says, "Where is Nancy?" He said, "She's not here. She's in Washington." The voice says, "When is she going to be back?" Now, Anderson, stop tape here for a minute. In context, that sounds crazy to us when we are talking to somebody while we're sleeping. But remember, this is a family that's lived around security details in their house, in their kitchen, outside.
They have a tremendous, I mean, I've seen her security detail. It's quite large.
People coming and going. He's groggy out of a dead sleep. And when he says, "Well, I'm going to tie you up and we're going to wait for her," it is clear to him something is very wrong. He gets out of bed and he heads for the elevator. He knows he can get in the elevator. There's a phone in there. He can stop the elevator. And Mr. DePape blocks his path. He's talking to him. "Can I call someone for you? What do you need her for? Is there something I can help you with?" "She's second in line for the president. We have to take them all out."
That's what he says to
Yeah.
Mr. Pelosi.
And then he says, "Well, is there someone I can call for you?" He says, "No, this is the end of the line for you." At this point, he diverts to the bathroom. He knows his cell phone's on charge there. He turns it on, puts it on speaker, calls 911, and then engages in a conversation where he's trying to get the message across to the operator, but not trying to get...
Because the guy can hear him on the 911
The guy's on the other side of the door. He's got a handful of zip ties and a hammer. And he says, "There's a man here, and he's asking for my wife, Nancy Pelosi, and I don't know him," he says when she asks. And she says, "Do you need police, fire, or ambulance?" And the suspect is glaring at him. He said, "No. How about, is the Capitol Police here?" And she said, "You know you're calling the San Francisco police." He says, "Yeah." She said, "Do you know this man?" He said, "No, I don't." And then the suspect responds, "No, I'm a friend of theirs." So she's gleaning something's definitely not right here and makes that priority A call. When the police are coming. Now, remember, the suspect's thinking here is, "I know I went by a million cameras to break in here. I know Paul Pelosi has seen me. I now think that the police are on the way, and he's heading downstairs. I know I'm going to get caught. I know this is the end of the line for me now." When the police get there and Paul Pelosi opens the door and heads back to the suspect, trying to keep things calm, the police put their flashlight through the door and they see the two men standing there with the hammer. And the officer says, "What's going on here?" And Paul Pelosi lets go of the hammer, and then he's struck. If you look at the suspect's later statements to police, what he allegedly said is, "I knew this was a suicide mission at that point, and that I wasn't going to get away. And if I had to go through him, I was going to go through him. He had escalated this by calling the police and putting his hands on the hammer, and I had to hit him."